we this time take from the passing parade one of the most familiar places in the land, where ever since the first barber shaved the first customer, men have gathered together to loaf and laugh and solemnly say,
"My whiskers, barber, are quite, unusually tough. Skin tender, though. You better lather it heavily, especially around here. And,
And it's also our privilege to try out every newfangled gadget in creation. We electrocute the microbes, and then we fall to with the heavy equipment. These are what give you the feeling that you're getting your money's worth. And secretly, brother, we love it. And, of course, who could ever resist trying out a new tonic in a colored buff, something to save your hair?
And they make you smell wonderful, too.
Yet the real thing that we get is half an hour of friendly rest, sacred to men only, in the most democratic place beneath the sun. Handing the heavy kid to Gertie, the manicure girl, and giving out with the politics.
Just wait until the next election, neighbor. Just you wait.
The sure thing, boys, in whom hope springs eternal until the race is run.
Yes, it's Blue Jay by a nose, Little Nell, Kingman, and Jupiter.
To say nothing of baseball.
that was a fluke. This year the Dodgers are a cinch.
And finally, there will always be the traveling salesman just in from good old St. Louis with the oldest story in the world.
Well, this plane was forced down at Niagara Falls, and they couldn't make Chicago that night. So they decided to... She said...
You'll have to get your husband to tell you the rest of that one after the company's gone home. But as Pete Ransom goes on with the problems of the honeymooners at Niagara, let's us go back a few years to when this barbershop was a little younger. Emporium of Tonsorial Arts, next to the corner at 3rd and Main. Shave and a haircut, 2 bits, and we figured that that was pretty steep. Same old bunch inside, though, talking about the same old things. Heavy kidding by the hour. Just inside the door, all the cigarettes you wanted. Most of them at just 10 cents. Sweet Caparel, Omar, with dear old Fatima, Egyptian deities for the high-class trade, Helmar, Mogul, and Murad. Luckies and Camels and Chesters wouldn't become famous until Kaiser Bill started the First World War. A real gentleman still chose cigars in those days, though, usually from the box with the best-looking Oriental females on the cover. Honey Girls, Sandow, Wolf's Choice, Atlas, and El Duello, all very elegant indeed. Above the counter, the gas jet with the glass shield, where Mr. Blaney the banker got his beard singed 3 times a week. Most of America still chewed, however, and if you had hair on your chest, you ground up 1/4 pound a day, all of which eventually ended up here. They were the Adams and Westlake patented protection cuspidors, always brass and always polished like gold, with some of the greatest dead-eye shots in America always on hand to perform. To pass the time, if you were the literary type, you dipped into the Police Gazette. Or, if you liked, at the rear of the shop, you got a bath between trains. Soap, towel, and hot water for 20 cents.
Genevieve, sweet Genevieve.
Who will ever forget the old rack of mugs along the wall? Dresden or German china for each regular, and a cake of Williams or Broom and Fowler soap in the bottom of each, with a genuine badger hair brush. Now and then, your rival barber down the street would nab one of your customers, and it was the delight of his life to come smirking in and take away the mug. Many a battle royal was raged over these, but when he handed you the signed removal slip, there was just nothing that you could do. Somehow a man didn't object to a lot of perfume then, and you came out smelling like a bed of roses. You got a good-sized jolt of these in the top of your head, some of which ran down your neck, and bay rum was always the champion seller of them all. Then, as now, plenty of gadgets to keep us happy. Not only the extra hollow ground special razors, but Dr. Scott's magical hairbrush. It was supposed to have electric magnetism inside of it, and men swore up and down that it saved their hair from early decline and speedy fall. And for the mighty throne itself, we had a number like this. Revolving and reclining, latest style red mohair seat, and one of these cost Pete the barber just $19.20, delivered and installed. One of the customer's toughest mental problems, though, was picking the right style of beard to suit the noble puss. A Van Dyke if you wanted to look wise, a Nantucket to look tough, Piccadilly weepers for the man about town, mutton chops for conservatives, a skipper's beard for comfort on a windy night, and an Uncle Sam for the rural trade. You pay your money and you take your choice, but it still looks like so much seaweed on your chin. The talented tonsorial experts who trimmed these beards were just as you remember them. The little one with the collar 2 sizes too large. And no one knows why barbers click their scissors, maybe for fun. The boss was always on the best chair, a Greek named Petropoulos, and Pete said his family had been at the barber trade for 10 generations. And old Pop Stoner, always talking about buying a shop of his own someday when he won enough on the races, and grumbling about his feet. For many a barber claims that he walks 10 miles a day in that little circle around the chair. Sounds futile, doesn't it? As for the customers, just about the same as we are today. Then as now, there was the poor guy with the hangover. And every man knows a barbershop is the first stage in the cure. Maybe I'll live a few hours longer. In Pop's chair, the snappy dresser with the black eye. Somebody with a sister has taken a good stiff poke at Casanova here, but for generations, good barbers made a specialty of painting out shiners. Stein's blemish cover and black eye paint. You used most of it on Monday mornings. Finally, of course, the Narcissus type, who always worried about that thin spot in his head. For the first 5 years of it, you kid yourself, and then you go around saying that a bald spot gives a man dignity. As for what they talked about,
Why, with Corky pitching, the Pirates ain't got a chance.
Harry, Camelot in the third is a sure thing. But keep it quiet.
and the dude, of course, is telling the Niagara Falls honeymoon story that was old before his grandfather's time.
Now, it was the coldest winter in 40 years, and the falls were frozen solid.
So after dinner, she looked at him and...
The falls!
What am I laughing at? I didn't hear the payoff either. But there it was, a place where men gathered to take it easy, to argue politics or spread the latest yarns. And it was America in a rougher, more carefree day. So long, boys. All of which brings to a close our educational discussion of life in the American barbershop, where the great American mug was shaven and shorn in the American passing parade.
That's what...